I'm trying to figure out the media's coverage of Kamala Harris. Like, what do you make of it?
Same bullshit as always, Trevor. Female candidates get covered less like politicians and more like Miss Universe contestants. How does she smile? Does she look good in a dress? Will Steve Harvey get her name right?
Yeah, but why do you think the media has this double standard in politics?
Politics? Negroes' double standard is everywhere. Have you not been paying attention to this wet-ass pussy controversy?
Oh, you mean like why Kylie Jenner was in the video?
No, ain't nobody talking about that goofy ass girl, you silly man. No, I'm not talking about the song. I'm talking about why people are talking about the song. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion have given us a sex-positive song of the summer, celebrating women owning their sexuality. Something men have been doing since Adam ate that apple in the Garden of Eden and got his first boner.
Dulce, I don't remember that part in the Bible.
The point is, male musicians talk about sex all the time, talking about their hard dicks and skeeting everywhere. But when women do it, people are like, this is vulgar, inappropriate. What about the children that look up to them? Who cares about them damn children? Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are not your nannies. I know it's confusing. You see two women of color in a really nice house, and you assume Aiden and Mackenzie are just off screen with their Mandarin tutor. But it's a huge double standard, Trevor.
Okay, Dulce, but to play devil's advocate, you have to admit it's a really graphic song.
Trevor, only in a repressed patriarchal society would people consider a woman's pleasure graphic. Men don't have to censor their pleasure. Drake and Bruno Mars can sing about eating pussy and getting hard, but they still get invited to Thanksgiving dinner. But if Cardi B does it, she's a slut who's taking down society.
Well, you know, there is another thing. I mean, there's something about rap that as soon as some white people hear it, it sounds graphic, you know, just because it's rap. Like, I could be like, it's really cool to stay in school. And then some white people would be like, whoa, 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 calm down, sir. You know, so there's always a chance that the problem wasn't the message as much as the fact that it's hip hop.
Okay, first of all, don't ever do that again. Listen, that was offensive for a whole different reason.
No, I was just trying to show like when you say something with the flow, how it goes.
No, whatever it was, stop, okay? The point is, we don't live in a society that's comfortable with women claiming their sexuality. It doesn't matter if it's rap or country.
Police in America have been getting a pretty bad rap recently, mostly because they keep shooting unarmed black people. And it doesn't help that we keep recording it. If we didn't keep catching them on our phones, the problem would just go away, like my gas bill. If I don't open my mail, I don't owe you a cent. But since it doesn't look like people are gonna stop filming the cops, some police departments are coming up with other solutions. And like most of the dudes in my DMs, these solutions are weird.
Waco police taking steps to engage more with young people in our community. Officers are giving out trading cards. You see them there, and when they see kiddos on the streets, they hand them one. Now, if you're wondering, each card has a picture of the officer along with some of their background career information.
It gives the youth the opportunity to learn a little bit about each officer. So, you know, it shows that police officers are people too.
Oh, this is great. The Waco police are gonna pass out Pokemon cards to themselves. So now when a cop throws me against the wall, I can be like, oh, wow, I can't believe I'm being manhandled by Officer Barry. Man, you a collectible. Now, look, I think this is a great idea, but it would be even better if the cops got trading cards of black people instead. Then they can see us as human beings. So next time when they see a black kid running, they'll be like, why is he running? Ah, that's Lamar. Oh. Says here he runs track, is constantly late, and his hobbies include not getting shot by the police. Okay.
I headed down to Chicago's South Side, where I met 17-year-old Trey. Trey claims YCA has helped him develop as a poet. I'll be the judge of that.
Have you written any, love poems for, somebody you like?
I have. I wrote my first love poem as a sophomore.
Ooh, did you give it to him?
I read it to her.
Did you do it where Romeo and Juliet stand on this balcony and I read to you situation?
If the balcony was a stage.
You performed it already, sir?
Performed it.
Guys, the balls on this young man. There's dudes that won't even text me back. And the 17-year-old is out here getting you in these streets.
Step your game up, gentlemen. On top of everything else, YCA taught this kid how to play the game of love. Damn.
I think YCA has really helped me kind of realize who I am, not just as an artist, but as a person in general. It just gives you a chance to speak your truth.
Okay, so, I mean, are you going to this open mic tonight?
Yes, matter of fact, I'll be performing. And you know what will make my day?
What?
I would love if you came.
Ugh, this babyface poet's really gonna have me going to the one thing I can't stand? All right, I'll make you a deal. I will come to the open mic. But you gotta win.
There's not really a winner.
Listen, there's always winners, Trey, because you've been to open mic. You've seen losers before. Thank you.
Okay, look, I gotta go. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
There are no
go to
winners.
class. Get your education.
I'll see you.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
We win it.
There are no winners.
Winning! That night I showed up looking amazing, as usual. But I gotta say, when Trey went up on stage, I was nervous as hell.
The following is a letter to poetry to earn my spot at the table. Dear poetry, baby girl, you are fine. But I've been thinking, if we plan it right and put space in between our stanzas, we could be stars. But what do you know about a man who's been macking with verses back from a curse? He chatted with first, relaxed up in church, the magic of church, the trap muse, the gospel of rap, the hostel and cast the back pew. The courage never developed in fellas to ask you, like, what is your castle like? Who are you attracted to?
I didn't need to be nervous. Trey and the other performers killed it. And instead of treating these kids like a bunch of hoodlums who don't care about school, maybe we should be helping them develop their voice, just like YCA does. Oh, and I guess I was wrong about open mics too. There's at least one of them that doesn't suck. Thanks to new studies, we're learning all sorts of things about relationships, like this one, which shows that the only thing gold diggers are mining for is French fries.
According to a new study, many women are choosing free meals over relationships. The study in the journal Social, Psychological, and Personality Science says up to a third of women have engaged in a foodie call. It's when a person sets up a date with somebody they have no romantic interest in, all for a free meal.
That's right. Studies show a third of all dates are just people trying to eat for free. So fellas, sometimes that eggplant emoji just means I'm in the mood to eat eggplant. There's only one emoji that always means sex, and it's the hockey net. Because you're about to score, and it's nice and wide. And if you're trying to figure out what's going to happen to your relationship after the first date, we got studies for that too.
Have you ever witnessed a couple making out in public and thought, get a room? A surprising new study found that the amount of affection between you and your partner may determine whether or not a marriage will last. And we're talking about public displays of affection. They found that couples who are overly affectionate from the start of their relationship may be more likely to divorce.
So, PDA couples are more likely to break up. Ha! That's what you get! Always getting a third base in the stationery aisle of Walgreens. Get your mouths off each other. I'm trying to pick a birthday card for my grandma. Have you ever wondered why women don't get the historic credit they deserve?
Sexism?
Statues, Trevor. Women don't have as many statues as men. In fact, nationwide, only 8% of outdoor statues are of women.
Wow. How did you know that statistic?
I drink Snapple. I read. What? Internet. Come on, dog. And I've seen it for myself. I was walking through Central Park the other day, under duress, and I saw statues of Alexander Hamilton, Christopher Columbus, William Shakespeare, all famous men from history. When it comes to women, there's only 2 statues in Central Park. Alice in Wonderland and Mother Goose. Which makes no damn sense. Alice is just a white girl who took Molly. And And why does Mother Goose get a statue? All she did was a goose.
I don't think that's right.
Fine, she made love to a goose.
No, that's not. Okay, anyway, Dulce, I'm lost. How does having more statues help?
Because, Trevor, statues help us remember history. When you walk past the statue and you're like, oh yeah, MLK did have a dream. Thomas Jefferson was a complicated individual. And when you don't honor women the same way you honor men, you're leaving them out of history.
That's true. That's true. Well, at least women have the Statue of Liberty. That's one of the most famous statues in the world.
That doesn't count. We need statues of real women, not some giant French bitch holding an ice cream.
So basically, we'll just clean it with this prep stick, and then what I'll do is, when I'm ready, I'll push it in, insert the chip itself, pull it out, and then I'll put the cap back on, and we are all done.
Give me one, give me one. I was entering a new life where anything was possible. Like swiping right and left on men in real life. Having doors open for me. This was the future. But according to tech journalist Ian Scher, I made a big mistake.
There's a lot of stuff we need to think about where this is going and what could happen as a result of it.
Let me tell you how my life has changed since I've gotten this chip. I can get snacks with the wave of a hand. I can start a car as soon as I buy a car. All of this is great. You need to get on board with being a hater, playboy.
And that may be the case, but whenever you put a foreign object into your body, it can be dangerous.
Not all objects. Look, Ian, think about how much time I'm saving. In 20 years, I probably saved 5 to 8 minutes.
My point is that you have to actually take it out if you want to take it out.
I never thought about removing it. Would this be like a 127-hour situation? I mean, that's what you get for hiking by yourself, James Franco. That's not the point. What are like the worst case scenarios?
Well, people could go to extreme lengths to get your information, and you could get charged for stuff that you didn't intend to buy. This is hackable. People could steal your information. You may not even know when it's being accessed, or for what. People will be able to track you. People are crazy. Someone could cut your hand off to use your chip. Because it's implanted, you can't get away from it.
Oh my God! I mean, this is the worst episode of Black Mirror ever. And I saw the one with the pig. I mean, stealing other people's chips? You gotta lose your hand and your car? Or worst of all, you think you're just dancing, but you're buying items you put in your shopping cart when you were drunk.
I'm so sick of this bullshit. White people call the cops so often they don't even have to dial 911 anymore. They just hit 9 and the operator's like, we're on our way. You know what Apple needs? To make a phone exclusively for white people. Every time you call the cops, it just connects you to yourself. Hello, there's black people here. What? There's black people here too. Ah!
And Dulce, you know, a lot of people felt that this example was particularly egregious because this woman was calling the cops on a child.
Yeah, but what really made me mad is the way she did it. Play that video again.
This woman don't want to let a little girl sell some water. She calling police on an 8-year-old little girl. You can hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Okay, now freeze. Why is she trying to crouch behind the wall like a white privileged ninja? The hell are you doing? We just saw you. You don't disappear just because you duck down. Black people aren't the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. I mean, look at her, come on. She looked like she's popping a squat in a back alley at Mardi Gras.
You know, am I mad at God? Yeah, I'm mad at him. I wish I had more protection. I wish this stuff didn't happen. I can't explain it to you. Yeah, I'm mad at him.
Wow. He's mad at God? He's mad at God for not protecting him. This is one of those times that I wish we could hear what God has to say. Oh, wow. gentlemen, it's God. I can't believe this.
Hello!
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for God.
What up, heathens?
Wow, God, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. I have so many questions for you. Like, with the hurricanes. Why did the hurricanes have...
Don't blame that on me. That is man-made climate change. I made hurricanes. Y'all supersized them. I came to talk about why Bill O'Reilly and why he dragged my ass into his trauma.
What do you mean, why he dragged your ass? You saying you had nothing to do with what happened to Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, in fact, I've had nothing to do with humans, any of y'all, basically, since the Titanic.
The Titanic?
Yeah, that was on me. They were bragging about it like, God himself could not sink this ship. And I was like, oh, what about these icebergs though?
Well, for years, 911's been handling calls that turns out aren't actual emergencies.
Hello, 911, there are black people.
Ma'am, stay calm. I'm scared too. The officers are on their way.
So we came up with a program to help white people decide if their emergency was an actual emergency. We hired a black operator.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm on the train and these black people are talking and it's loud and I think there could be a fight.
Okay, sir, so let me get this straight. You called 911 because black people were talking loud?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, good. Here's what I need you to do. Stand up, walk to the window, and throw your bitch ass off that train.
No, you're just walking down the sidewalk, but it feels threatening.
Girl, bye.
Is she a bit unorthodox? Yes. But it's been efficient and she's almost entirely professional. Almost.
So you're saying he's a 6'4" African-American male, broad shoulders, driving a Benz. I need you to look closely at him. Is he wearing a wedding ring?
No.
Stay right there. I'm on my way. Hold on, girl.
Hello?
I'm a crafter, Trevor. You know, I'm sitting here making Valentine's Day cards for my friends. And I got all the adhesives here, okay? I got double-sided tape. I got a hot glue gun. I got titty tape. We holding stuff down over here, Trevor.
Okay, so then what do you make of this story as a crafter?
I mean, as a crafter, this story makes me want to buy Gorilla Glue. I mean, if that glue can lock her hair in place for a month, maybe it could have kept me and my ex together. Literally, joined at the hip. I mean, it would have made sex difficult, but you know, we'll work it out. Where is he going?
You know, it's actually funny you say that because Gorilla Glue actually had to issue a statement defending themselves. They basically said that you can't blame them because the bottle says you can't put it on skin.
Yeah, but in her defense, they didn't say you can't put it on scalp. And also the bottle says all the stuff you can put it on. Fabric, wood, plastic. She must have read all of that and been like, well, if this can put wood down, my edges are going to be immaculate.
So you sympathize with Tessica Brown?
Of course I do, Trevor. No one wants to see someone go through some shit like this. You know, black women, we want our edges to be laid, but not forever. And you should see the comments. A lot of people are trying to help her out. We're like, Tessica, try coconut oil, try acetone, try Jesus.
Yeah, Dulce, now you know someone is in trouble when even the online commenters are like, no, we need to help this person. That's how serious this got. The only question is, like, how do you think this whole thing is going to end?
I think this is going to work out for her. I mean, at some point, her hair is going to get fixed. And in the meantime, she's lucky she was going for a ponytail when this all happened. I mean, imagine if she was trying to do some new shit and ended up with a mohawk this whole time. Oh, like my Uncle Josh. He got an awful haircut this one time. Let me show you. You know, Trevor, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta.
Is everything okay, Dulce?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, it's my prayer time. I'm gonna go.
Are you stuck to did you put your glue gun on your chair?
Hey, no, man. I'm trying to give you a nice little exit. I'm trying to give you a little show, a little razzle dazzle. You know, kind of like a sweep out. You see?